Oh, dear. I don't know if you want to wait.
Oh, Trish. Yeah, I saw her. Oh, Trish.
So I am going to record the meeting just so we can take minutes.
Did you forget something?
No.
Oh. An apple. Ruby usually comes with an apple in hand.
What?
Usually comes with an apple in hand.
Not today.
Yeah, that north of tomorrow. That's like. I have some.
Sure.
Enjoying the properties above. Did get it done. Okay. There's his number.
I don't know where
Just
it's at. Form. It's interesting. Oh, form. Yeah.
And then the first thing is.
Did somebody see her?
I saw her in the office building for about half hour.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I hear somebody.
That's her.
There you go.
Oh, the twins.
The twins are here.
How are you guys making out with them?
Oh, you know, not sleeping.
Well, I had one more.
Yeah.
You know. What does it mean?
Both are rainbow.
Oh. Identical?
No.
One woman's.
No, they're both
girls.
Girls.
Yep.
They just.
Sorry, the names were a little.
Yes, yeah, they could go either way.
So we might.
Right now, she's 6.5 and she's 5.5. But she was 4.14 when she.
I have 3, 3, 7, 32 acres.
36.5.
That's what
That's pretty sure.
We do have Trisha's number. If you want to send it to me. I don't know.
I'll look.
So, yeah, I guess.
Congratulations, they're so cute.
I think it's okay. Just get her started.
Yeah.
Okay. Like to call us to order, for this special meeting. So the first item is discussion and vote for chair. We have currently without, Christine, sent around an email offering, yes, I think she's willing to, chair. I'm not sure if anyone else is interested.
It should be a great chair. Yeah, I think she'd be great. We're just gonna vote.
So before, just wanted to let you know, I mean, moving forward, we don't have bylaws right now. We would like to develop.
We do have bylaws.
We're not sure they were ever officially adopted. So
They were sent around by George Michelle.
But there weren't minutes ever taken during that time, which is problematic. So we have to make sure, like we're doing today, that we have proper minutes taken moving forward. We're in front of that. So what we can do moving forward is review these and just
so, yes.
adopt.
Adopt
Two
that.
people, we'll have two people or step up, review them, go through it as like a bylaw committee, and then adopt the bylaw. They can be as they are. We can change them if needed because they were last written in 2009. So if they need to be changed in any way, but we can make that decision to have a bylaw committee to review them.
So what department is responsible for maintaining these records? Like, who knows who's in the ag district? Who has a list of farmers that are in the ag district?
So currently, soil and water and ag, are with Neil at DPW.
So,
And there's a GIS database maintained by some
so you,
IT.
so soil and water is the only one with access to it?
We do.
No, are you the only one with access?
No.
So a suggestion maybe, and I don't know, I have is maybe I've done this for other boards before is whoever the secretary becomes. You can put it into a Google Doc and keep it for the people that are on the board to access, and as they evolve, and they'll always be able to go back and look, but then add new people to it. So it's a living document. Kind of a suggestion.
I know, but there's like no overhead, like some department that says, okay, we have these documents from back in 2009, 2010. There's nobody that has that?
It was when Lori was here for 28 years. And when she retired, it moved over to,
Right, but so she maintained that information
she did.
and now we don't know where it is? Basically, we don't know where it is.
Well, I mean, as far as bylaws in particular,
Well, I'm not.
even if they were adopted, any board can come in
I
and adopt new ones.
I understand. So but that's like the chain of evidence. So that's basically what I'm looking for. Because you had meetings when Lori was in charge. I'm guessing you took minutes back then too, right?
I don't think we were neither.
No,
of us
I know you
You
specifically were.
We're trying to move forward. Like, I want to make sure that this is fully transparent moving forward and that everybody has a living document that it can be.
I understand that, but we need past stuff too if it's available.
So-
If it's not available, we need to make sure it's somewhere going forward that it's available.
Well, right, that's why I'm discussing.
So IT has been setting up SharePoint folders for different departments. And I can ask that's a very good idea. We can set up a SharePoint that anyone on the board can go in, you can add documents, you can, it's our documents then.
And we can, when we find documents, previous documents, we can add them.
But it would just make it so accessible for everybody. And then it also keeps it kind of in an archive as members
Exactly.
move, and it's a live document. So it's transparent, it's there, it's not going anywhere. That's my suggestion. I don't know if everybody agrees, but that's my suggestion.
I went across the street.
Not the only one.
Yeah, I think that makes sense just to have like, some digital folder that we have access to forward. So it sounds like we elect a chairperson and then we can go forward with electing vice secretary, et cetera.
Right, but we don't want what happened to happen again. So there needs to be a place to stick all this stuff.
Mhm,
That would,
Yeah.
well, that would, yeah.
I understand that.
Yeah. Cool. And then so, right, these bylaws that we have, we can discuss them and adopt them
Yeah.
and then have them.
And also, like I said, it's from 2009. So if everybody takes a look at them and they want to change something, it gives us as a body the
Right.
ability to add to it or take away from it. because we're evolving at all times. You personally had to discuss, your situation with with your ag, the evolution of the ag district in your farm.
Right.
So I think it's appropriate to always kind of review them at some point or another. Just my opinion. And I will call Lori Taylor and see if I can get a hold of anything. I don't know if I'll be successful, but I'll try.
Thank you.
Just like picked everything up and left.
I don't know. I don't.
No, she had a lot
Can't
of
see her doing that.
documents.
Yeah, I can't-
She was getting shifted back and forth between here and across the street, so she stored a lot over at the barn at, the parks. So I'm not sure the condition of the records. I don't know. But moving forward, we'll try and fix that. In the bylaws in particular, they do call for a chair, a vice chair, a secretary.
But
And
we
a
don't have
treasurer.
that bylaws. You just said that.
No, I'm just saying, when
We
we.
can only
go
pick
to-
and choose what we want out of it?
No,
No,
that's what, just let her finish.
Okay.
so, looking at them, do we need a treasurer? Do we need, do you want that? So these are all things, when we go to look at them, I'd like people to like
Think.
think about and take note of things like that in particular.
Yeah.
So,
I think that's good. So, but first we have to like elect the chairperson so we can go.
So I did it secret ballot, so everybody feels like they have a voice and can say what they want to say. Unless you don't want to do it that way, I just was giving the option to everybody.
Well,
well,
if
so
the meeting's open for nominations, and make nominations to
Yes.
see how it goes.
I just wanted to say that. So
yes. So Christine, already authored it. I'm not sure if anyone else would like to run.
So can you nominate me?
I'd like to.
Thank you.
I second the nomination.
Official, I don't want to just say, I want to be chair. Thank you. So nomination and second. So now we can,
So should we just,
no, so anyone have a
Do secret
discussion?
ballot and-
And if no one has a discussion, we can just vote.
Well, no, then you guys see if the nominations are closed, and then go.
Okay.
does anyone else have any nominations or
Or volunteer.
volunteer?
I so move the nominations be closed.
Second.
Second.
Question.
Nominations are closed. I guess,
Question.
let's do it by roll call.
Do you have a question first?
No, that means I wanted to
no,
vote.
he's calling the question. You should call for a vote.
Okay.
Somebody knows their Robert's rules.
Legislator Crowley,
Yes.
Tricia McLaughlin,
Yes.
myself, yes. And Bill Tillman,
Yes.
Ruby,
Yes.
and Dave Vickery.
Aye.
Rick Finger,
On the Zoom board. I'm used to that.
Yes.
and Christine.
Aye,
So it is unanimous. Welcome, Chair.
thank you.
That's congratulations.
I know.
And that's your turn. Now it's your turn. Take over the agenda.
Well, you called this meeting, so I'm okay with you finishing the meeting.
I'm okay if you want to.
You want me to do it?
It's short.
Okay.
Just practice round.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna, number 3, the discussion and recommendation of 2 applicants. So, I'm in the Ags and Markets, I think it's 302. It states that the chairperson of the legislative body shall solicit from, organizations, people who are interested in filling the seats.
Yes.
Okay, so we did put out,
It was, put out on Cornell's in the papers, put it on our website, so we fully advertised.
Right.
There were 5 different applicants, but I
Right.
believe her name's seen the resumes and letters of interest. So although we don't vote for the vacancies, I believe the chair recommendations of who.
If she would like to ask for the recommendations.
Yeah, absolutely. The boards, just most of the boards in Putnam County, it is the board itself that votes on their members, and then it comes for approval to the legislature. So I would absolutely
So you
appreciate your recommendations.
Okay. Thank you.
So what do we want to do today? Do we want to accomplish discussing the different applicants and?
I would like
We have to
to,
discuss it.
yeah, I'd like to discuss that so we can
Yeah.
put forward our recommendations and then she can decide whether or not she wants them. I would like a secret ballot at the end when you got, after we've discussed the applicants. So I believe everyone has the applications, the letters of intent. So I'm just gonna go by, I have them in order. So the first one I have on top is Joni Lanza. She originally contacted Neil to talk about Lanza Farms Ag District inclusion. She was in Kentucky for a while and now she's come back to New York. She serves on the board of the Phillipstown Garden Club. And I believe that she's taken over the operations of the family farm. It's Lanza Farms, Farmstead, Goat Dairy, and Maple Farm Stand and Product Line. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So she's a current farmer. Spearheading directing.
Christine,
Yeah.
to add, we need a farm rep and a farmer ag business rep. to fill.
We have, so
Those are the 2 vacancies. Right, so I just want to be sure that we have,
one of
when we're
these
voting,
is
we have to,
agribusiness.
yes,
Right.
we have
So-
to vote for agribusiness and then a farmer. rep.
So she fulfills the agribusiness.
Yep.
As-
I just want to put the information out there, that's it.
So she fulfills the agribusiness. The next one is from Andrew Wolkin. He was raised on a hobby farm in Putnam Valley. He was a 4-H club member from 9 through 18. He has a Bachelor of Science from Cobleskill. What is he doing? His 2-acre property in Putnam Valley have apiary fruit trees, blueberry bushes, and vegetables and honeybees. He's been on the livestock committee of the board of the the board of Yorktown Grange Fair Association. He is also the president of the Putnam Valley Grange Association. Agriculture, I don't know what he does at this time for a living. Does anyone know what he does? It's not in here.
You know,
What does he do?
He worked.
I think he's the farm, I don't know enough to speak to it.
He would have.
Okay, but he's very active in the Grange and has been for years. This one is from Betsy Ryder. Does anybody not know Ryder Farms? Ryder Farms has been part of Putnam County for, I don't know, I've only been up here since 2011, it's like longer than that.
Over 100 years.
Over 100 years. They do certified organic vegetables, herbs, flowers, beehives. Are they still active in the
Property is.
property is? They have 120 acres in agricultural conservation easement. She's been on the board before, apparently.
I believe she was on the board when it was first formed.
And she was
too.
chair.
She does have significant historic knowledge.
So that's Betsy. Then we have Bob Antonetti.
Oh, can I just interrupt,
Yes.
for Elizabeth Ryder, what are the positions that she would be considered for? one, both? What does she qualify for?
Well, she's not, according to her letter of intent, she's not actively, in agribusiness herself.
So she would be farm.
Farmer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know Sunset Hill Farm, I don't know this gentleman, but he says he was in the private sector for years. And now that he's retired, he's interested in, giving back to the community. He raises beef, cattle, and chickens, along with blueberries, black currants, and garlic. So I'm not sure where he sells them, but if he's raising,
From his house. He has like a stand down, so.
what about the beef?
Beef, I don't know what he does with the beef. I know he does getting eggs and stuff. He sells it. There's a little thing in front of it.
So is that enough to be considered ag
I
business?
believe so. And if he's raising beef cattle, I'm sure he's not eating it all himself. So he's got to be selling it somewhere. So I believe he fulfills the agribusiness also. And then we have Ariel, who is the owner of Ridge Ranch. She has a background in animal science with a focus on livestock management. She raises Scottish Highlands. She also has, are they meat rabbits?
They're pet rabbits.
She also raises rabbits and goats and donkeys. And chickens. So do you sell any of these to the public?
Everything, yeah, pretty much everything.
Okay, so that would constitute agribusiness also.
So I do want to take note that due to pending litigation, Ariel can be considered for the board, but she won't be allowed to vote on any matters till that's resolved.
Okay.
Can I ask, what are the two openings again?
Farm rep and farmer ag business rep.
Okay.
So
What-
Irvin and Jocelyn.
And what are the terms on these two?
So that's a little bit confusing too, because I have several charts that have different end dates that conflict. So I have a chart, and there's no date on these charts. They were given out at a meeting here. And Jocelyn's, on one chart, Jocelyn's term was supposed to expire 27, and Irvin's was also supposed to expire 27. On another chart, Jocelyn's expires 26 and Irvin's expires 27. And then on another chart, Jocelyn's expires 25 and Irvin's expires 26. And then the last chart, Jocelyn's expires 27 and Irvin's expires 27. So this is one of the reasons why I asked about previous documentation. Because apparently nobody knows when.
So what happened with that is
I'm
in the
sorry,
years that-
but before you go on,
Okay.
these were all given to me within 1 year. It's not like I've been around so many years and I've collected them over the years. These were all given to me within 1 calendar year.
So I think part of that was people were trying to figure it out. The only one is the official adopted one by the legislature when they appointed everybody last year.
What about before that?
So it would have been the previous appointment when.
Right, and where's the
that was
documentation for that? It's only 1 year ago. And
made. So
I can't help but be suspect that some of these dates were described for certain purposes.
So according to, when you set up the ag district and set up the board that results from being
Yes,
the district, they require,
it was staggered at first,
and then everyone expired. So-
but when the person who was elected, appointed for 2 years expires, the next person who fills that seat is for 4 years. And the same thing happens for the person who expires in 3 years. The next person is 4 years. So they're still staggered, but now everybody's appointments are 4 years.
No,
Yes.
So they're supposed to be
No.
still staggered.
Yes, but they're still
So some people's might have gotten like Irving left right mid-term too, so we have to consider before.
Yeah, so his term, whoever we appoint to replace him fulfills his term and then has to be appointed.
I agree.
But it states in section 300, I'm not exactly sure where, if you give me a second, when it's creating. Oh, here it is. After the board is established, the chairperson appoints 2 qualified persons for 2 years, 2 for 3 years, and 2 for 4. Thereafter, the appointment of each member is 4 years. So they're still staggered, but now everyone is 4 years.
No, they're still staggered. Everyone's 4 years, but
Every 2 years, people come up. So like they rotate.
I understand that, but
But it's a 4-year
I don't
term,
get,
Yes.
and it'll still stay staggered.
exactly.
Right, yeah, we get it.
Okay, so,
so I mean,
This
that's just
chart-
basically the updated.
sorry?
What's the question?
The question is, how can we go by this chart if I had 4 different charts in 1 year? We don't know what chart
So
is the most
But at the end of
accurate.
the day, it's whichever one is approved.
Which.
So Barb has the one approved by the legislature last year.
But I
I
don't
understand
believe
what you're
that,
saying,
I don't
but-
believe that one, you told me at the roundtable is we just started over.
We did because they hadn't been no one had been reappointed in more than 5 years. So
Okay.
everyone was starting fresh, unfortunately.
But now, does that mean that everybody's terms end at the same time? Did we try to stagger?
So we tried to stagger it, so we went back to
And
the original
that's
intent.
kind of my point is how these dates change from chart to chart.
All right, so let's start, we're starting over, right? Because it's a mess. So if we have a baseline to go with and they're staggered, now let's continue with what you said, throw everything else at, put it somewhere. But not, I'll throw anything out, but let's put it somewhere where it's not gonna get confused with anything else. Maybe start dating these and then keep the 4 years going forward now with this,
So which is
start
the,
fresh.
So which one is the correct one?
which, well, it's not, which is the most recent one?
That's the one I got from the legislature.
Thank you, and I'll see which one it matches. Thank you.
And just make sure everybody's staggered properly on that one, and then we can go forward correctly.
Initial it.
I don't even have this
So
one.
You said, you don't have a second.
No, I don't even have.
So, no, it's-
I think there was one
Oh.
in 2025, so technically that'll now be moved 4 years. This
So
is
that's the
2025.
official one.
So-
Can you get a copy of it? Can you get
Yeah.
a copy of it?
I'll make a copy before we leave. So we're replacing Jocelyn.
It was in the email.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't print that part out, sorry. So we're replacing Jocelyn, who's she was the agribusiness and her term expires in 25, and we're replacing Irvin, who expires in 26. When their terms expire, they have to be reappointed for 4 years. Okay,
Excuse me, what are you looking at now? I'm just.
Oh, boy, this is like a
This
TV
is like came
show.
with the resumes from Diane.
This is what I have.
So you don't need
This is,
chart.
this is the approvals from the chair, last year, the chair of the legislature. That's the last thing I have from 2024. So that, yeah. Okay. This I don't know where this.
So that's what you got sent this year?
It came with the resumes that I got. Something,
who sent this to you? I mean, how did you come by this?
whether it's Neil or Diane.
But that's the appointments that I have.
Okay, so let's see if they correspond to this.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we'll match them up, and then maybe a new chart has to be made based on that list, and then we go forward.
That's from 2024.
Yes, February
24,
2024.
So I would think that, and
So-
that came directly from the legislature, signed by I'm the
Okay,
chair
so-
of the time, so.
Could I run on this?
Yes.
It's 27. Lean-to is 27. Jocelyn is 26. Fred is 26. Yours is correct.
Okay, all right.
Mine says it expires on December 31st, 2025, so I'm not even supposed to be here.
No, it's not.
No, it's the end of the year. End of this year.
It's here.
Okay, and that's wrong too, so mine says 25 and Colt is 25. Okay, so this chart does not jive, except for Fred, with this memo.
Okay.
I don't know who prepared this chart.
Okay, so we need to go on.
Go with
Can you,
Yeah, let me get copies.
Amy, would you mind making a couple copies of this? How many copies do I need?
6.
10. Okay, so good. So those will be our first documents to be added to our file, right?
Yes.
So good. Perfect.
Okay, so we're gonna go by the chair's, the chairperson's memorandum, not that chart. All
Yes,
these other charts, I'll put in the back. of the
yeah,
book.
just write that. Should say them or
Void.
void, yeah. So we now
So
have,
thank you for patience, I appreciate that.
so you now have to call the vote for we discussed if there's more discussion on the part.
Anybody, do you have anything you'd like to say about any of the?
Yes. I know a couple of these people. Joni Alonso, had business with her years ago. She showed herself very energetic and dedicated to whatever she started. She started several different things. Finished them. She homeschooled and took care of goats and did the mapling. That's my experience with her, and she's a tiger. We can get somebody like that on the board to be interested in doing things. I think she'll be great. Also, I like Betsy Ryder. She's got some experience from the past that would be perhaps a benefit.
Thank you very much.
She is also very thoughtful and smart lady that got a lot of different things. I think her very experience would be good to enjoy it. And I really don't know the rest.
There was something that I want to bring up, is that we did, when we went through and tried to, update appointments, in, I guess it's 2024. We tried to look, at the county as a whole and appoint people representing different areas. So, something also to take into consideration when we're looking at this. Where urban was. And where just-
Well, also the current board members, we got this east-west imbalance that's happened. Years ago, it was all east side. Now it's a little heavier on the west. Here from the west, not from the west. So getting somebody on the east and the west balance is also a part of it.
So a balance is nice, but from what I understand, there were years where when a vacancy was available, couldn't get farmers to put in their letter of intent.
Well, just one consideration.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were heavy on Phillips. We didn't have anybody from Phillipstown except us for years, and then we had 4. And then it goes back and forth. So that's another part of the balance.
So the terms are all 4 years, so if the board decides, yeah, we're too heavy in Phillipstown, they could choose to not recommend to reappoint that person and get someone from a different part of the county.
Wouldn't that be nice if we had more? It's like this, that we usually do. You guys can't get anybody.
I think that you need to get that.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, exactly. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to say? So do we have, an approximate idea of when this lawsuit might be settled?
We're not allowed to speak about it right now.
Okay.
It's not something we can talk about. We have to. Ariel can be appointed. She just can't vote until it's over.
Okay.
I can't vote, like I can't vote for my husband on the board because he's a deputy sheriff. She just wouldn't be able to vote for her own farm.
Yeah,
That's
and
it.
their court date is
So that's it. That's all that it comes down to. She just can't vote until it's over and can't vote for herself. Just like you couldn't vote for yourself. if you were going back into the ag district.
Okay, does anybody have anything else they'd like to say, or can we just get right to voting?
I'm gonna give 2 pieces of paper to each person, one for agro business, one for farming. We'll throw it in the farmer will throw it in the basket for Neil. We're going to watch me.
So that doesn't mean, so we had 3 that fulfill the agribusiness. That doesn't mean that you can only vote for one. The other one is also a farmer.
Two.
Thank you.
So
So
they're
we need to
all
write-
farmers. They all could be considered
We're all
farmers.
farmers, yeah.
And then the few can be.
2.
So we need to write,
Two more.
who's
No,
going to.
we don't have to
do
write
this
it.
On the slip.
I would recommend who you're voting for as the agribusiness representative,
Yep.
and then the other one was just farmer.
Harold over. I have a dog in the
Oh, here.
Oh, it's my hair?
Yeah, that'll be all on the floor by the end of this meeting.
Two.
I think your hair looks wonderful.
I'm gonna take 2 for myself, and I'm gonna leave the rest up here. Everybody's watching. Just have 2. Okay.
I thought you were gonna. Thank you. So, so we're clear according to the ag markets, these are people we're recommending.
Yes.
That doesn't mean you have to choose.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're following ags and markets.
I wouldn't want to go
We
against.
do.
Let me ask one, make sense of that question.
No dumb question.
We recommend 2 people. The legislature says, we want this one, but we don't want that one. So then we have to do this all over again.
Let's no, we're gonna, so my vision is we're gonna count the votes. The people with the highest votes are obviously gonna be the ones that we recommend. And then if she chooses not to appoint one of them, we can choose from someone else. So,
Somebody else from the list of people?
Or just from the second runner-ups.
right,
Oh, okay.
No,
Anybody,
Anybody.
but,
Anybody?
so do you wanna dump it on the table, out in the open, put them in piles?
yeah.
I'm gonna do it in front of everybody.
My goodness, what kind of everything?
No, I've done, so, I've done this before, so I just wanna make sure it's completely out in the open.
There we go. Check the garbage can.
No,
No, I'm not saying you. I've been to those type of votes, so it's on the garbage can.
I don't want to ask any questions.
Not sure.
okay, so
Looks like Sunday.
for farmer, for Betsy Ryder, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Betsy Ryder. This is written as agribusiness, she's not agribusiness. 8. Lanza, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for Lanza and 2 for Hanovich. We have 8 and 8 and 2.
Okay.
Okay. So that would make sense. So then we have, for Lanza would be agro business, and then Ryder would be the farmer, correct?
Isn't there Vulcan and Bob?
Nobody voted for them.
Oh, okay, I just wanted.
No, so there's
So
eight for Lanza,
Lanza,
8 for Ryder, 2 for Hanovich. So again, it would be, Ryder would be our farmer, Lanza would be the agribusiness. And what's been, there's 9, 7, 18.
Can't do.
No, it's okay.
Wait, yeah, you can.
You can do math.
I said I can't do math. I can.
Six, eight, 16 plus 2.
Oh, 8, 10, 18.
I can't do like kids math in school the way they do it now, where they have you hop and jump
Oh,
and skip.
forget
and our poor children, we homeschool, so it depends on who they go to.
Well, obviously you're doing a good job.
Everybody votes.
Are you okay with me returning these back to the basket?
Yes.
So we voted that. Sure.
So the vote comes out 18 for Lanza as agribusiness.
No,
Sorry.
it was 8 for Ryder, 8 for Lanza,
Right,
2
8.
for Hanovich.
So depending upon what Madam Chairperson does, we recommend Lanza for the agribusiness and Ryder for the farmer.
Yes.
Do we need to submit a more formal recommendation?
It'll be in the minutes
Yes.
once we get minutes done.
Well,
So I have put a placeholder with physical services for Monday to let them know what the vote is, and
Do you want me to write a memo too?
you can, you
Okay.
can.
Then on Monday, the review vote.
it's just for physical. It has to go through
It's a
either a
review.
special or a
It's just a
full
review. It's,
or a memo.
it's a public meeting and the legislature, the fiscal services committee, where they will discuss what you all voted on here. And then after that, I'll do mine. But I just want to make sure that everybody has all the legislators have the opportunity to.
So it's either
That's-
through special, through a full, or through a memo, correct?
Through a memo, right?
Yes, so those 3 ways it can be,
Right.
it can be
It'll
approved.
be through a memo like the chair did last year. I just wanted to give you the opportunity to do that one. At a public meeting.
Okay, updating the Putnam County Ag and Farmland Protection Plan.
So, I mean, based off of the roundtable and last year's discussions, we did want to reopen the 2004 plan, look to see any updates that are needed. There is grant funding that's available. I would need to go to the legislature to request approval to apply for the grant. Anything that is funded, if there's a match, the legislature approves that. So the grant is, it's $100,000. 50% is funded through state ag and markets. 50% is local county. So they require 10,000 be a cash match. 40,000 would be staff time. I put this back on to see if the board would like to recommend that I revisit that and apply for the funding.
I did send a memo also requesting that we to the county executive, and I believe you're CC'd on it, requesting that it's something that we look into. You didn't get it? Oh, well, I apologize, but it was sent and I did request that it's something that we should look into.
So I'll make a motion that we ask Barbara to move forward on this.
You gotta make a motion. You're a chair.
Oh, I can't make the chair motions? Okay.
You can make a motion of the chair.
You can.
You can,
I
yes,
stand corrected.
Yes.
yes, you can, and I'll second you.
Okay.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
There's unanimous vote for that.
So I don't know if you remember, Barb, but yeah,
There's
there
other
was,
business too.
sorry?
other business, we have
Yes.
to appoint a secretary.
So, but do you remember when Alana was working with us? She had coordinated the board members to write to her with any corrections or,
Officially made.
oh, it was you?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I apologize, because the memo came from her. So I apologize. So you have a starting point then, right?
I do.
Okay.
I mean, that was really to get direction that it needed to be updated, which we kind of agreed. It's
It's just a freaking tedious.
a plan in general, any kind of comprehensive plan, a master plan, whether it's specific to a topic like agriculture or broad, like the entire countywide plan. They're typically updated every 10 years. So, I mean, this is them, yes.
I think the process is we receive the funding, or platform then receive the funding. And then part of that funding goes towards a consultant who meets with stakeholders. And then there's a subcommittee of more stakeholders. But when you,
No, I know it's not
When you
just us, but
yes,
we're the active farmers
You're right.
representing the other
Yeah.
farmers, so.
but it would be, those notes that we started were just kind of the inklings of
Yeah.
things that we identified that we needed to update.
So then, other business.
So,
Did you?
currently Neil Tolman is secretary. Are you willing to stay in that role? I think we might have.
Fine.
Another piece of paper for the files.
For secretary.
Okay. Anyone want to nominate themselves or volunteer for the position?
So I mean, currently, if we're going by state ag and markets law, we're only required to have a chair. I mean, that's another top. Does the chair want to take on both roles and do the minutes and
Well,
that?
ultimately, the secretary would take the minutes and then send them to me for approvals and corrections, and then we would approve them at the meetings.
Okay.
Not a good note taker.
There is a very good app that you can download on your phone that will actually transcribe it for you. I'll send it to you if you want. And then it just puts it on a doc. Just suggesting.
Okay, let's try that.
That's nice.
I'm being serious. You literally just put it
Okay, let's
out
try
and
that.
it transcribes it.
So you record the meeting?
Yeah.
That's the majority.
Not a
Secretary.
good secretary.
Yeah, Christine, you still need to take a vote if you want a secretary or not, or you're gonna take on that role for now. And at any time, you can still call for a secretary if you feel like if and when we review our bylaws, we decide to take out treasurer because we don't need a treasurer or a vice chair or whatever. You can leave that in there and choose to fill it if you want.
Okay,
That's all.
so the motion is I will fulfill the role of secretary for the time being.
Second.
Favor?
Am I in favor?
Right.
No one's opposed?
You got
You got the whole thing.
Let's see.
That's the whole-
Do we need a treasurer?
No,
We used to have funding.
What happened?
you do, you have county funding.
Or
But we don't know anything about it.
Hey,
Do we want a vice chair
Table for us.
that is running things in Christine's absence?
Well, I believe that if there's a meeting I can't make, whoever is here can say, okay, we
Yeah, that's.
want you to be the chair for today.
You can also appoint, like you've done before in meetings, the chair has appointed somebody to run the meeting.
In your absence.
In your absence.
So just on the fly.
Yeah, you can say, you can send an email to everybody saying, I can't make it, I've appointed so-and-so to run the meeting for today in my stead.
Well, so, the motion is we're not going to elect a vice chair at this time.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
Okay. So is there other business?
The other business was the secretary
Okay.
and, that was it. And then,
Can I bring something up for other business? The last time everybody was brought in front of the legislature for the, to get their ag status, it was recommended by the ag board. They were all shot down because of resolution
We can't-
130.
we can't talk about this because of ongoing,
Can't talk
can't.
about resolution 139.
I don't believe so because of ongoing litigation. We can't talk about that right now. That's where we were directed today.
That's the,
Okay.
That's why the agenda was
Okay, well, I thought it was other business, but if that's, we're not allowed to talk about it, we can't.
just right now.
Karen, could everybody who's a public walk out and do executive session?
I don't, look, I would have to call over to law. I
Yeah.
was told anything to do with that resolution, right?
Executive session before.
So that only has to do with other specific things, like open meetings, law only allows it for contract negotiations and personnel and stuff like that, so. That's what I understand. I have other business.
Good.
I'm gonna
We
be
don't
back.
have- he's- I'm sorry.
I think this is the truth. Yeah. I want to go back to funding just for a second and open it up, because I remember back when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, when Larry was here, that there was a small amount of cash available. I think it was like $137 or something like that, that the Ag Board had for miscellaneous stuff every year. Just like to know if that was something that happens again.
It does say that although we don't get paid, if we incur expenses
Yeah.
in the performance of our duties, we can get reimbursed. Is that what you're talking about?
No, there was a small fund she had for putting out the paper plates and stuff at the picnics we had and stuff like that.
The only thing I've seen in the budget along those lines is there was, I think it was a few $100s that since then we've been using for the publication of notice for the various positions when they come up. So we pay the newspapers out of that fund.
Okay,
That's the only time I've seen it used.
more information.
There you go.
so I mean, it's budget season where actually departments are starting to work on their 2026 budgets. So, I mean, we can consider that.
Well, perhaps we need to have a submittal for the budget for the year, because we'll have other things that happen along the way. Or do we have to request the payment of those things on each time? When we make
So
notices.
it would need to be a budget line so that, and then each time we would have to submit it to finance and audit for approval.
Of the actual expense.
Yeah.
Do we have to come
Without
up
it-
with a dollar amount to start with, like we do
Yes.
in our department? So we
Yeah,
have
like
to
$100 or
guesstimate
something.
what we might need for the year.
So we could
Put it
say,
in our line.
you budget us $500 and then as we need it, we take it out.
Currently, it's part of DPW, but we can.
Okay, but is that how that works?
Yes.
Did you have a question?
I have an answer, actually. So the board cannot talk about it as the current subject of litigation. If public wishes to discuss it, they may discuss it. The board cannot answer back. And we, as the board, can go into executive session to discuss it and ask the public to leave. So,
Oh, okay.
Cassandra, yes?
What?
Okay. Welcome to the party. So the public can discuss it, we can't respond, or we can go into executive session just to discuss 139. So those are the two options.
So we could, the public.
You can, you can either leave and we can discuss, or you guys can say what you need to say, we can't respond back about
So-
139
I
particularly.
would ask, what do you guys think? I'm okay with either, but I think you guys are the only ones who have any legitimate, the public said everything the public could say.
Yeah,
Possibly.
I think you'd like,
I'm cool with walking out.
I'd like to think that it's known the public stance.
Carrying babies outside.
Well, yeah, and I mean, yes, I think the stance from the public is no, but I do think the urge from the public is to truly reconsider either all of 139, parts of 139, the soil aspect that nobody's taken into consideration, in my personal opinion, on the county level, and what certain farms are doing or not doing. We're not growing crops. I don't need prime farmland. Currently, Southeast is also building on all the prime farmland, which good for them. We need the economy. But when we're not doing things that don't require prime farmland, and actually, if anything, what we're doing is creating better land in soil. That stuff needs to be taken into consideration. It was not taken into consideration at all last year. And when brought up, we were told we were wrong. So I urge you guys to truly look at it, and take into consideration what has been said and understand what we are trying to do as people in agriculture in this county to actually provide better soil. I think everybody's probably seen the articles about how crappy the water reservoirs are around here and how salty they are because of the amount of salt we put on the roads. As all of that water runs through the soil, it can be taken out. It can naturally do what it needs to do. But if we don't better the soil around here, we don't provide better water to New York City. We don't provide better water locally in the aquifers that are there. So let us help. It doesn't cost the county money and the taxpayers money to let the farmers spend our hard-earned money to try to do these things.
And obviously there's it's like a case by case basis. Like if there's livestock farms that just have giant feedlots and are just compacting the soil and making it awful, obviously that is detrimental. But if there are regenerative livestock farms that are using their livestock to make the soil better, make the, the property better the environment that they're involved in, the soil maps and soil quality that they're starting with shouldn't be taken into consideration. It should be their farming practices that are taken into consideration.
That's the five of us from the public.
I'm impressed they were so quiet.
They ate just before we came, and I'm sweating, so she's very warm and comfortable.
Everything.
You keep you up all night.
Yeah, they're really good at that.
So clearly twins,
Yes.
boy, girl, girl.
Two girls.
Two girls.
There's also kid
Congratulations.
4 and 5 more, so at this point, it's just another day out.
Yeah, congratulations.
But
One additional thing to add, Andy very much so covered the prime soil bullet. In general, I think combing through that bullet by bullet is very important. One of those bullets, Jackie and Avi spoke about it at the round table. It's the concept of violations. Obviously, if a property is overrun with violations prior to application, that should be considered, and there's reasons, to look into that. However, once an application has been filed or X number of days before the application period, whatever you guys decide for that to be, Jackie and Avi talked about that at length at the round table. And I think that's
Yes.
to be considered.
thank you, because we got, yeah.
Yes. I would also say, as far as the violations, if they're farming related violations, obviously those need to be taken into consideration. If they're, I don't even know, like a broken down lawnmower or something, like obviously that's not affecting our sound farming practices. So those should also be taken into consideration.
Beautiful. So do we want to do executive session?
You have to make a motion to go into executive session.
Do you have any other business first before we do that?
I just want to thank you all for volunteering and taking part, and congratulations.
Thank you.
We're happy to have you. See you later. Bye, Neil. Bye.
I was gonna ask about the.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Well, we have to make a motion if we're going into executive session.
Okay, I make a motion to go to executive session. Favor?
Aye.
Should I should turn up the
Thank you,
recording,
Nina.
right? Should we not, we shouldn't record executive session.
So we stop recording now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
that makes sense.